showtime. Tick, tick, boom. Who bringing the noise? Go, baby, we bringing our toys. Separate men from the boys. Chopper be singing, she'll be on the voice. Bang, bang, we gon' ride out. Gang, gang, we don't die out. Want it like this, ain't no timeouts. Tell me who really gon' find out. Rowdy, we get rowdy, rowdy. Rowdy, we get rowdy, rowdy. We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets. About to go ape, going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep. Tick, tick, boom. Hard body, and not scaring nobody. You make me resort to wildin'. You must be blind by the diamonds. I didn't want it to be this way, but y'all won't need to try this, so it's no way around it. You the loudest one, it's going quiet. Rowdy, we get rowdy, rowdy. Rowdy, we get rowdy, rowdy. We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets. About to go ape, going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep.
What is up, War Room? Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday, happy Monday. So excited to be here with you. I'm actually recording this. Sorry about any video quality we might have. I'm in the middle of the jungle in Costa Rica at a waterfall here with my family. Can't go in the waterfall for my tattoo requirements here for another 5 days. Can't submerge it. So I'm hanging out here. I thought I'd broadcast live tomorrow, which is today that you're watching. We're actually going to be probably in flight. You know, it seems like you can't go anywhere these days without some sort of bizarre delay or some sort of crazy thing going on with travel. It reminds me of the first chapter of Atlas Shrugged, where people can't figure out why on earth you can't do basic things that we used to be able to do before, like take off on time or something, but we can't. It's, I don't want a chance, being in security or customs or whatever. So we're going to hang out here live from the waterfall today in Costa Rica. And I'm super excited to be with you guys. And I hope you are crushing the first week of 2023, right? You're 1 week in. How are you doing on the goals that you set for this year? Have you already fallen off the wagon? If you've fallen off, you better get back on. Listen, it's okay to fall off as long as you don't stay off. Okay, it's okay to fall off as long as you don't stay off. We all mess up sometimes. Okay, we all fall short sometimes, but a winner's going to get back on. See, listen, losers take those losses to heart, right? Okay, we don't do that. Just because we didn't do what we needed to do doesn't mean that we're not going to do what we need to do, right? Our past does not dictate and determine our future. Type that in the chat. Our past does not dictate and determine our future. What you did before doesn't make any lick of difference about what you're going to do today or what you're going to do tomorrow. It's your choice. It's your choice. So you've got to decide that 2023 is going to be your greatest year ever. Type that in the chat. Greatest year ever. It's going to be your greatest year ever. Why? Because you're smarter than you've ever been before. You're more committed than you've ever been before. You have better tools, better systems, better accountability. You're in proximity like you've never been before, being a part of this group. Okay, listen, this is your year. It's your time. This is the year that makes all the other years worth it. I don't know who needs to hear that today, but this is the year that's going to make all the other years worth it. All the toil, all the trials, all the struggle, all the obstacles, all the challenges, they were all to put you in position for this year. You're going to do in this year what should have taken you 10, 20, and 30 years to do. I'm so excited. So listen, I'm going to share with you a little bit here. I've got a great message for you this morning. And honestly, I was a little hesitant whether or not I was going to share this with you, but I felt like I was supposed to share it with you. You know what? I run this group, so I'm going to share it with you. I believe it's going to help you a ton, but I need you to hear my heart on this, okay? Listen, I'm going to share with some of you. You don't believe the way I believe. You don't think the way I think. That's okay. This is not a prerequisite. You don't need to be a believer to get some value out of what I'm going to share with you today, okay? So make sure that you are open-minded and open-hearted. But before we jump into that, let's talk about culture. Type culture in the chat. Let's talk about culture, because listen, culture eats strategy for breakfast. Culture is the leader's shadow. Culture is what allows the organization to grow beyond an individual person. And we're going to do big things this year in the world. We're going to do big things this year. We're going to double, triple, quadruple the size of this group this year, and you're going to be a part of it. And listen, we've been talking about some points of culture. Today, I'm going to talk about some similar ones and some new ones. Some similar points of culture and some new points of culture that are going to help you like crazy. Okay, and guys, listen, number one is coachability. Type that in the chat. In this group, we are coachable above all else. That's why we're here. We're here to get better. We're here to go further. We're here to do it faster, right? And if we knew what we needed to do to break through to the next level, we'd already be doing it. Yes, right? We'd already be doing it. We'd already be making those changes. We'd already be winning at that level. But we don't. That's why we're here together. We're here to get information, and we're here to act on that information. Don't just be agreeable. Agreeable is receiving the information. Coachable is acting on that information to make the change that you came here for, to make the change that you were coachable. We're not agreeable. We do what we're asked to do. Number two, right, and this is a little different than before, and I want to give you this one, is we're consistent. See, consistency is key. It's the little things done daily that make the big differences that everybody wants, the big changes, the big wins. And that's what we do better than anybody else in this group. We are consistent. Type consistent in the chat. You are consistent. You can do those little things with consistency. And number three is excellence. See, how we do the little things is how we do everything. We are people of excellence. Type excellence in the chat right now. We are people of excellence. We do the right thing. My partner said this. He said, we don't get paid for what we do or what gets done. We don't get paid for what we do. We get paid for what gets done. And we're finishers here. We are people of excellence. We don't start and stop. We start and finish. Starters are a dime a dozen, but finishers are as rare as gold. We are people of excellence. Number four is we're people of commitment. Type commitment in the chat. See, listen, commitment is what pulls you through when you don't feel like it anymore. We're not led by our emotions. We're led by our commitments. We're not led by our feelings. We're led by our commitments. See, interest is when you do something when it's exciting or convenient or it's something you want to do. Commitment is when you do that thing because it's what you decided, it's what's necessary, it's what's right, it's what's good, even when it's tough, even when it's inconvenient, even when it doesn't make sense, even when you no longer feel like it. And that's where the rubber meets the road in 2023. Do you understand? Consistency and commitment are the two things that you lacked. So you already know a lot of what you need to do. I'm going to give you tips. I'm going to give you tools. I'm going to give you mindset shifts. I'm going to give you tactics. Okay. But the truth is you probably know 90% of what you need to do. You're just not doing it consistently and you're not doing it with commitment. You do it when you feel like it. But man, when you're sick, when you don't feel good, when something's wrong, you don't do it anymore. See, we're committed. And number five is we're people of integrity here. We say what we do and we do what we say. Our word matters. Our word, type that in the chat. My word matters. Your word to you, your word to your family, your word to your coaches, your teammates, your boss, your employees, whatever that might be. Your word matters. You are somebody of integrity. See, those five things, man, I believe if you embody those five things, if you embody coachability, if you embody consistency, if you embody commitment, if you embody excellence, if you embody integrity, man, you can't go wrong. It doesn't matter what the world throws at you. It doesn't matter what setback, what obstacle, what challenge. And listen, they're coming. Okay, if you aren't in a challenge right now, you just came out of one or you're headed into one. Those things are coming, but it's how you decide to be when those things are happening that makes all the difference in the world. And man, those five things, that's part of our culture. In the war room, we're building strong people, and those people are changing the world, and you're part of that. And so, guys, listen, I gave you all access to my class, Crush Your Goals, the goal setting boot camp. I hope that you've dug into that. If you haven't dug into that, you need to dig into it now. You probably all set goals for 2023. We're into them already. But listen, setting the right goals in the right way is what makes the difference. So many people fail because they're setting goals, but they're setting them incorrectly. They've got to be clear. They've got to be concise. They've got to be captivating. They've got to be connected, right? They've got to be clear. You need to know exactly what you need to do. It's got to be measurable and specific. It cannot be, hey, I'm doing a little extra, or I want to lose weight, or I want to make more money. It's got to be specific. It's got to be clear. It's got to be concise. Listen, you can't have a 2.5 minute dissertation on one goal, right? It's got to be short enough that you can say it in a sentence. Crystal clear, concise, captivating. It's got to move you. See, some of you've been pursuing goals that aren't your goals. They're what you think you should do. They're what you think you should go after, but they don't move you. So you got to be connected. You got to be captivated by those goals. And number 4 is they've got to be connected. You've got to be emotionally connected to them. They've got to mean something to you. You're not gonna do what it takes. Listen, I built multiple businesses to 7, 8, and even 9 figures now. Okay, you're not gonna do what it takes to get it done. Listen, some of the times in those businesses have been the hardest times in my life, where I'm scared to death and I'm in totally uncharted territory. And I don't know if I'm good enough. I don't know if I'm strong enough. I don't know if I'm capable enough. But persist. I must break through. I must. And listen, you're not going to go through that pain. You're not going to go through that uncertainty. You're not going to go through that challenge if you're not emotionally connected to that goal that you set. And so listen, if you haven't watched the goal setting Crush Your Goals boot camp and workshop, watch it. We gave you free access to it, okay? Number 1, watch it. Number 2 is you need to evaluate your goals that you set for 2023 in light of that Crush Your Goals bootcamp. Are they set correctly? Are they set in a way that's going to optimize your ability to accomplish them? You can make sure you've got to take daily action towards them. And so I know we've got a lot of new people on here. And so I want to talk for just a second about the KPI tracker, right? The KPI tracker. VIPs, you have access to that tool. If you're not a VIP, I'm going to teach you about it, but you're going to have to make your own, okay? And so the KPI got our 5 F's, our faith, our family, our fitness, our finance, our future self, the 5 things that matter most in our life. And what we're doing always with our goals, and you should redo the KPI tracker for 2023, is you've got to have your top 1 or 2 outcome goals. What are you going to accomplish this year? The outcomes, what am I moving towards? You've got to have your top 1 or 2 in each of those 5 areas. And then each of those 2 outcome goals should have 1 or 2 input goals. An input goal is what is the action that I can take that by doing the action secures the outcome. See, most people have outcome goals. They have a desire. They know where they want to go, but that outcome does not hold the power for achievement, right? I want to lose 30 pounds by December 15th of 2023. Great. That's a great outcome goal. But how exactly are you going to do it? See, the how is the input. The outcome is the direction. The input is the action. The outcome is the direction. The input is the action. Type that in the chat. The outcome is the direction. It's your North Star. It's your guide, okay? The outcome is the direction. The input is the path. That's the way there, right? Okay, and so we need to have 1 or 2 outcome goals in each of the 5 F's, and we need to have 1 or 2 inputs for each of those outcomes. When I do these things daily, I move in the direction of my outcome. And what the KPI tracker does is it lets you name them, organize them, and then keep track daily that you've made action. So what do you do on the KPI tracker? The outcome goals, you need to check them every day, okay? If you have repeated them to yourself 5 to 10 times that day, right? The outcome goals are going to be inserted through repetition. We're going to affirm them. We're going to repeat them, okay? We might listen to a self-talk audio with them, but we're going to give ourselves a check on that KPI tracker outcome goal if we've repeated it, read it, listened to it 5 to 10 times that day. The input goals are actions, right? They're activities. They're things we're going to do. And we're going to check that off when we do that. Now, listen, a perfect KPI tracker for the year. That means every single day, no days off, every single day, you put in your mind the 1 or 2 most important things in your life this year in all 5 of those areas. And then you took the most important action every single day in each of those areas. How does your life not get unrecognizably better? That's the secret to winning. And what is that, y'all? That's consistency. It's not a big thing. Doesn't take much time, 2-3 minutes to fill that thing out. Couple minutes to look at it at night, couple minutes to look at it in the morning, fill the bad boy out, right? Easy, simple, something anybody could do, but most people aren't going to do it, but you will. Type I will in the chat. Type I will. See, listen, success is a bunch of little wins stacked on top of each other. That's how you create it. Okay, so I want to make sure that you're doing your KPI tracker, but your KPI tracker is up to date with your 2023 information based on aligning with the Crush Your Goals bootcamp that you saw. Make sure that you got that. All right, so listen, I'm going to take you through a little bit of a message. I was reading, this actually came from a New Year's message that I got at church, a piece of it, and a piece of it came from a subsequent reading. Isn't that interesting how God works in our lives? And I'm going to give you a teaching here that I think is going to be absolutely life-altering for you in 2023. Type life-altering in the chat right now. It's going to be life-altering for you in 2023. See, it says in the Bible, in the beginning, God, right? That he was in the beginning. The only thing, it was him in the very start. And in the beginning, God, and it goes through in Genesis a bunch of different things that God did in the beginning. He said this, he did this, right? Okay. But if you stop and think about it, what if you take that in a different context, in a different phrasing? In the beginning, God. In the beginning of everything you're doing, the beginning of this year, in the beginning of your finances, in the beginning of every goal, every endeavor you set out, in the beginning of your self-development, in the beginning of your marriage, in the beginning of raising your kids, in the beginning, God. What if we could put him first this year in a way that we've never done before? See, the Bible says, seek first the kingdom, and all these things that would be added to you, influence, wealth, success, all the things that you want in life will be added to you if you seek God first. You seek God first. You put him first. And so I want to read to you out of Luke 1. Give me a second here. I'm going to read to you out of Luke 1 here. Let me pull up the Bible. I'm going to read this straight out, okay? It's going to be amazing. So I'm going to read Luke 5, verse 1, okay? And it says, one day as Jesus was standing by the lake of Gennesaret, the people were crowding around him and listening to the word of God. He saw at the water's edge 2 boats left there by fishermen who were washing their nets. He got into one of the boats, the one belonging to Simon, and asked him to put it out a little from shore. Then he sat down and taught the people from the boat. When he had finished speaking, he said to Simon, put out into deep water and let down the nets for the catch. Watch this. Simon answered, Master, we've worked hard all night and haven't caught anything. But because you say so, I will let down the nets. When they had done so, they caught such a large number of fish that their nets began to break. So they signaled their partners in the other boat to come and help them. And they came and filled both boats so full that they began to sink. So full that they began to sink. Guys, there's such an unbelievable message in that. And I want to share that with you. Number one was this. Those fishermen, right? They gave Jesus use of their livelihood. They invited him into their business. See, those boats, they could have been out fishing more on them, doing more commercial work. They could have insisted, no, I need to finish cleaning these for my charter that's going out tomorrow. But instead, when Jesus asked, they involved him in their business. Have you involved God in your business? Is God your business partner? Have you asked him to partner with you in your endeavors? See, guys, listen, let me tell you something. Let me tell you the single greatest secret to my success. The single idea, the single belief that, in my opinion, has caused more success in my life than any other belief that has come from anywhere. You want me to tell you that? If you want to hear that, say, I want to hear it. Type it in the chat. I want to hear it. Go ahead, type it in. If you don't type it in, I'm not going to tell you. I'll just move past this point. I got a lot of other good stuff that I attribute the success that we've had to is the belief that God causes all things to work for my good. It doesn't matter what I'm going through. It's teaching me, it's preparing me, it's molding me, it's strengthening me, but some way, somehow it is improving me. It's causing me to go to levels I would never have gone to before. And here's the deal. Listen, when you're faced with adversity and you wonder, does God really want me to do this? Or you know, this is from God helping me to get something I need from this to aid me in the success, in the attainment of my dream, in the attainment of my destiny. You approach that thing totally different. When you're half-hearted in, wondering if it's where you even should be, you can't play like I play. See, I know it's where I should be. I know it's what I'm born to do. I know that I'll overcome this challenge. It's not if, it's when. See, I know the story we've already won. And see, you've got to develop this. I honestly don't know how people succeed in business or in life without a fundamental belief that God's plan for you is good and to give you a future, and that all things are going to work together for the good. And so here's the deal. Number one is they willing to involve God in their business? Are you? Number two, okay, fisherman's livelihood, to use their way and method of doing business. Are you willing to lend your business, your skill, your time, your talent, your treasure to God's purposes? See, they said, what's it going to hurt? We were out all night working. We didn't get anything. We didn't make anything happen. What could it hurt us? Right? And so when they were down, man, they turned to the source of their provision. Folks, listen, as we enter, ad budgets are down by 50% across industries. Okay, listen, your source ain't the economy, baby. Your source ain't your company. Your source ain't even your skill set. You know who your source is? Your source is God above, the one who created you, who made you, who put you in this place, in this position. And he's going to cause you to prosper when other people are struggling. So that people look at you and say, I don't know what it is about that person. I don't know what they have, but I want some. See, listen, they had worked hard all night on their own. That's what Simon says. He says, Lord, I'll put it down, but we've worked all night very hard. We didn't catch anything. And see, many times we're working solely in our own strength, then we can give everything we got. We push ourselves, we're grinding, and yet nothing seems to happen. See, they worked all night on their own, in their own strength, but with God, exact created success beyond their wildest imagination. See, they didn't even do anything different. They just did it for someone different. They did it under the direction, right? That's not like I speak for a living. Under the direction of a new leader. Folks, listen. You're a great leader. I'm a great leader. But none of us are leaders like God himself, right? And so look, what they tried and couldn't do on their own, they involved God. God told them what to 1,000 times more. And so here's what I want to tell you. Man, listen, some of you, God hadn't been first in your business. You haven't been honoring him. You haven't been living by his principles. And this is where you say, well, I don't believe in God. That's okay. God believes in you. And he gave us principles, and the world works. Listen, you could say that tree is purple all day long. It's still green, brother. it's still green. God's principles are God's principles. Whether you believe in them or not, you still got to adhere to them. You don't need to believe in gravity, but you jump out of a plane without a parachute, you go and splat. Type splat in the chat, right? You go and splat. It doesn't matter if you don't agree with it. You dislike it. It's not your thing. God bless you. That's totally fine. Okay, but understand, they began to take God's principles and act on those principles. Okay, we begin to act on those principles, and everything changes. And so I want to tell you something. The doors that you came to before that were closed, the things you tried before, the dream in your heart that has not come to pass. Let me tell you something. With God, the doors that were closed will be open. The things that stopped you before will stop you no more. You got to make a decision. And see, look, it wasn't just like a little result they got, right? They were getting nothing. They were getting nothing. My kids are telling me there's some sort of like giant spider. There's a giant spider under there. What's up, kids? Tell the war room hello. Hi. Have you guys been jumping? Yeah. That's amazing. There's a ginormous spider on my rock. It's the size of her palm. So I'm just going to scoot up. I'm going to scoot up a couple of feet there. Hopefully I don't get arachnophobia. You guys got to stop now, okay? So don't irritate the spider. Okay? Don't irritate the spider. But I want you to understand something. I want you to understand. What's Jay Pruck saying here? Okay, I'm gonna move. I'm gonna get a move in here. I'm gonna come over here on this rock. Okay, bang. All right, we'll post a picture of the spider. We'll post a picture of the spider. Let's see. Oh, that's a pretty large spider, huh? Well, thanks for saving my life. I appreciate it. Okay, but understand this. It was not a little bit, it was a lot. It was complete failure to total success. It's not small, it's not slow. And I want to encourage you to look for ways to put God first in your business. See, listen, the net wasn't just full, it began to break. So full, they needed a second boat. So full that both boats began to sink. And what happens is they're astonished and convicted. They're afraid. If we go and read, let me read a little bit further in the passage, okay? So when Simon Peter saw this, he fell at Jesus' knees and said, "Go away from me, Lord. Go away from me, Lord. I am a sinful man." For he and all his companions were astonished at the catch of fish they had taken. And so were James and John, the son of Zebedee, Simon's partners. These people are completely astonished. We've never seen anything like it. Let me tell you something right now, Room. People are going to be astonished by the success in your life in 2023. Type the word astonished in the chat right now. People are going to be going on with you. But this is amazing. It's more incredible than anything that I've ever seen or been a part of. And I want you to get that down on the inside. 2023 is going to be your greatest year yet. These are not words. These are truths. These are principles. Why? Because it's first things first. In the beginning, God. First things first. Now, guys, listen again. I hope you hear my heart on this. I'm not trying to preach to you. I'm not telling you what you need to believe. What I'm telling you is what I believe and what's helped me immensely and why it's helped me immensely. Let me tell you something. 2023, your greatest year yet, your greatest year ever. Those are not empty words to me, my friend. That is a promise and a principle for the people in this group. We're going to see growth on a scale that will be nothing short of astonishing for the people. There's nothing short of astonishing for the people in our life and for us, right? Simon, the boat owner himself said, "Lord, leave me. I don't deserve this." That's how we're going to feel. We're going to say, "This is more than I could have expected. It's more than I ever imagined. This is bigger, better, faster, and stronger, David. Are you right? Okay, this is more than I could have dreamed." And so what have we been doing on our own that we need to invite God into? Where can we put him first where he hasn't been first in our lives? Okay, where can we put him first? And I want to ask you something here, okay? How would you play this year if you knew you couldn't lose? How would you play? Man, if I knew I couldn't lose, man, I'd go all in. I'd be a bet the farm risk taker. I would go for the things I felt like I was supposed to do in my life. How would you play if you knew you couldn't lose? Because let me tell you something. You can't lose, baby. You and God are a majority. With him on your side, there's nothing you can't do. All things you can do. All things. The Bible says I can do all things. All things, not some things, not everything, but not the things that so-and-so did, but I couldn't do that. All things. See, listen, when you want to give up, be clear, okay? When you want to give up, be clear. When you want to settle, be clear. When you don't believe, be clear. Be clear on what, coach? Be clear that ain't God. That's the enemy trying to steal, kill, and destroy your dream. Why? Because do you understand? Your destiny is so great. Your dream attached to so many other dreams that you are the key that unlocks the doors of other people's destiny. If the enemy can take you off track, all the people God had associated with your dream, all the dreams that your dream would unlock, all the destinies that your destiny would set fire to, none of it happens. You're the kingpin. You're the one he wants to take out. And so this year, listen, are you going to be tested? You better believe it. Are you going to have challenges? Absolutely. But you are bigger than every single one of those. Type "I'm bigger" in the chat. You are bigger than anything that will rise up against you in a dream in your heart this year. But I want you to understand, when you feel down, when you want to give up, when you don't feel like you've got it going on, when you don't have enough moving, when you're scared, when you think that you're not going to make things happen, understand where that trying to steal and kill and destroy your dream and the dreams of other people. And so listen, guys, thank you so much for your flexibility today. I promise you, I won't miss very many lives. When I do, I'll always make sure I bring the fire here. But man, I hope you enjoyed a little bit of Costa Rican waterfall, being able to see the kids in J. Pruck. But more than that, I hope that you understand this. This will be your greatest year ever. It's going to be a year that will astonish you in so many ways. Hey, get your KPI trackers done. Watch your goal setting workshop. Take massive action now. Type that in the chat. Massive action now. Listen, we don't get paid for what we do. We get paid for what gets done. So let's get it done, baby. You only get one first month. You're in a 12-game season. It's game one right now. How are you going to start this season? Are you going to play from behind, or are you going to get out in front? Are you going to put a W on the scoreboard for dadgum game one? You are a winner. You are a champion. You are a hero. You are a legend. Let's go do something big. God bless you guys. We'll talk to you soon.